Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux, and happy July 4th, everybody. It's another July 4th, which means it's another review for I Know What You Did Last Summer, this time titled I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which confusingly, nothing happened last summer outside of what the killer did, so therefore he knows what he did last summer. I know what I did last summer. Should have been the title to this. That said, or I Know What You Did 2 summers ago, or you could have just titled it I Still Fucking Know, and it would have been perfectly fine. This movie is absolute garbage. You know how in the mythology of like the cinema zeitgeist and stuff like that, Scream is always talked about as the film that revitalized the horror genre, specifically the slasher genre, for the time when it came out. I think this film is equally as responsible for its impact on the horror genre, just in reverse. This is responsible for the death and stagnation of that 90s revitalization of horror. And mostly because it's awful and has almost no redeeming qualities. But I don't think that gets talked about enough. And maybe that's for the best. Maybe us not talking about this movie is a good thing, actually. It'll be really interesting to see if the I Know What You Did Last Summer threequel, fourquel, whatever they're going with, requel, reboot, legacy sequel acknowledges this film at all, because it doesn't really seem like it's going to, and that's, again, also probably for the best. That being said, let's talk about the qualities. They're much easier to blow past anyway. Jennifer Love Hewitt is really good and really engaged in this film. She's innately, charming and likable and watchable, and Brandy's fine in it too. I like Jeffrey Combs. Just purely as an actor, he's here getting his paycheck, and he knows it, and we know it. I like Jack Black as a musician mostly, but as a actor. Not in this film at all. In fact, let's move on from the qualities the film has to touch on the non-qualities, of which there are many. This movie is obscenely obnoxious. It goes so over the top in how obnoxious it is, and nothing is more demonstrative or illustrative of that than Jack Black's character. Holy balls, man. He sucks. He is just so freaking bad. Moving on to other things I didn't like. I just praised Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's sort of just playing herself in this one, whereas in the first film you feel like she's giving a real, pretty raw performance of somebody who was bright and bubbly, who then has gone through and experienced extreme trauma and has shielded herself away from everything. It's a good performance, a really good performance. And here, she doesn't feel like the same character at all. I just don't buy that. And on top of that, Ray also seems like he's just not the same character. Freddie Prinze Jr. is mostly just a glorified cameo in this film, but he's written as a jerk, which he never really was in the first film. He was kind of ambiguous because he was the red herring character in the first film, but here he's supposed to be a firm, likable guy, and he's just not. He's just kind of a jerk, yet by the time you get to the film's end, you're supposed to think he's dreamy, heroic guy, good old Ray. Doesn't work. Absolutely terrible. Freddie Prinze Jr., I think, is actually better in this film than he was in the other one, which, fine. But yeah, I just can't. Mekhi Phifer, poor guy, what a good actor. He had to deal with the script and make it believable, and all he's doing is just trying to be as horny as he can be on camera, and it's off-putting. Thank God his career had upward mobility after this, because this easily could have sank it. And then you have the return of the Fisherman Killer, and there's a unique twist that had me laughing out loud even back when I saw this in theaters in 1998. where there's another character named Will Benson. Get it? Will. Ben's son. Oh, they did the Scream thing where there's not one but two killers, and one of them is Ben Willis's son, Will. It was laugh out loud then. It's like just so cringy now. I'm really curious about this new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. There is a third one that they did make in like 2006 or so called I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Not even the same group of kids. What is going on with this title? The franchise titles in this, like the titles in this franchise are just insane to me. This is like almost more convoluted than the Rambo franchise, where you have First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo Last Blood. I don't know what's going on there. This is just kind of like you have I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, even though it happened 2 years prior. I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a completely different group of kids. And now a new I Know What You Did Last Summer. We'll see, maybe it takes place 3 years later just for consistency. But anyway, I do not like this film. This is one of the worst. This is one of my first experiences with being excited for a movie and being so incredibly let down. I said at the time it was the worst movie of the year it came out. And it was the first year I declared a worst movie of the year. Keep in mind that the year prior I watched Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's how bad this movie is. That movie didn't compel me to create a worst of list. This film did. Woof. Do I review I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer next July 4th? Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to review that. I've seen it one time, and I remember it somehow being worse than this movie. We'll see if we can do it, man. But I'll only do it if you tell me to, so let me know in the comment area down below. Thanks for watching. I also have a horror podcast called Why We Horror. Maybe I'll touch on the first I Know What You Did Last Summer at some point, but currently I have a review up for, or a discussion of The Cabin in the Woods. I'll have that hyperlink somewhere up here. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.